Well, hello everyone and welcome. I don't know why I have to do this. Weird. Well, welcome to another episode with Math with Miss Audrey. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. As I did promise I was going to come here on Sunday, but I actually have someone at 5:30, so I figured, hey, during my little break, let me teach you guys a little bit of math. It might be just a review. It might be something that you've never seen before, or it might be something that you're currently doing. So, if anything, we have, well, a couple things I definitely want to mention that most of my lives are actually going to be on my YouTube channel. So if you ever want to basically subscribe to my YouTube channel, because who knows what's going to happen with TikTok. Supposedly there's another deadline, and that's happening in April. So let's not be faint of heart. So if you want any of the replays of any of my lives, just go ahead and go to my YouTube channel, Audrey Codner at ACG Math Tutoring, as well as if you want to write a review for me. If you're staying here and you're actually taking on a lot of information, that will be helpful for me to actually get some clients that are going to be paid. So if you need any of that, we can do that here. All right, all free for you. So we're working on function notation. So let me take a little quick zoom in. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. So when we're looking at function notations, you definitely want to get the terminology down. So for the f, sometimes you have an f function. Sometimes you have a g function, an h function. The name of that function always comes first. Then what happens inside the parenthesis will tell you what x values are you looking for. What is your domain? So that's going to be inside the parenthesis, but the whole thing, the f of x, that's what that symbol stands for. Or you can say the values of blank at x. Most of the time you're going to hear me say f of x. That's your range. That's your y values. So once we start talking about functions, you're not going to see y equals not that often. Most of the time, you're going to see either f equals or g equals or g of x or g of t or h of x or p of x, whatever. But anytime you see like a letter with a parenthesis with a letter, that means we're working on functions, okay? So in order for us to do this, then we need to kind of take a look at the function. So this is the first one. We have f of x is equal to 4 minus 3x. So we are getting some values of x. Sometimes they will give you the values of x and ask you to find what the y values are. Basically, you're finding order pairs. Okay, so you're finding points that's on the graph so we can either graph it or we can find what the result will be. Most teachers would say that my x's, they're my input. So you probably heard of input, output. So your x's, they're your input. Okay, and what we get out is going to be your output. So I'm going to write the function. And all you're basically doing is substituting. That's all you're doing. So if I'm taking a look at 4 minus 3x, but instead of an x, for the first value, they say we need to put a negative 2. So I'm going to fill in a negative 2 in here. So now we need to multiply what's happening right here. So negative 3 times negative 2. So if you recall, a negative times a negative will give me a positive. But now we got to multiply 3 and 2. So 3 times 2, that would give me 6. So we're looking at 4 plus 6. And what is 4 plus 6? 4 plus 6 is 10. So what you just found is an ordered pair. And the ordered pair is going to be a -2. I'm going to try to put it a little bit smaller just so I can fit it all in. So we got a -2, +10. Okay, so that's all we're doing. So when we come in, hey, all right, no problem. Hello, Carissa. Hello, everyone. So now we're doing the next one. So my input is going to be -1. So we have 4 minus 3, but instead of the x that we have up here, we're going to plug in the -1. So now you have -3 times -1. So a negative times a negative, that gives me a positive. So that means we have 4 plus 3. And 4 plus 3, that gives me 7. So the ordered pair here is -1, +7. Okay, so again, the x values are going to be your input, and your result, that's going to be your output. And all you're basically doing is finding ordered pairs that you can either graph, or you can just say, all right, whatever the situation is. So now if I plug in a 0, so we got 4 minus 3, and instead of the x, we're plugging in a 0. So -3 times 0 will give me 0. So this is actually telling me I have 4 plus 0. And 4 plus 0 is 4. So the ordered pair is going to be 0, 4. Hi. It looks hard, but it's actually easy. Yes. Yes. Okay. Hey, Nicole, how are you? All right. So that's all we're doing. Anytime they give you functions, and I know you're not used to seeing it in this terminology, but that's basically what they're doing. Now, if they ever say for you to graph and they don't give you any input, I usually use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, because I have a couple negatives, I have a 0, and a couple positives. So generally, this is like my general rule. Okay, so now we're going to plug in a 1. So you got 4 minus 3, but a 1 is going in. All right, so now that we're kind of getting this, okay, all right, good. I'm all right. So Juan is saying it's 1. Do we agree with Juan? Because we have our 4 minus 3. The reason why it's minus 3, because -3 times a positive 1, when the signs are opposite, your answer is always going to be negative. So 4 minus 3 gives us 1. So our ordered pair that we're looking at is 1, 1. Okay. All right. All right. So why we got 2? Okay. Why is there a 2, 2? So why do you hate math? Is it because you can't understand it? Or are these hecklers? Okay. Because here's the funny part. I love when people say they hate math. And I know it's because how it was presented when you were younger. And you guys make decisions. Making decisions using logic, that's a form of mathematics. Using this thing called a cell phone, which really is not a phone anymore, it's a computer, the input that you're putting in. So if you want to research somebody, you want to get someone's phone number, you want to find out what time Walmart closes, if you want to find out like who is beefing with who, you're doing research. You're putting stuff into your computers, into your laptops, into your phones, and getting something out. That's mathematics. So, okay, we don't have English until I was 12 years old. Right. So here's my thing. You missed a lot of the basic parts. You were thrown into a classroom and you were expected to achieve, but people didn't know your background story. Okay? So math is overrated. So are you saying that you're overrated, Zane? That's kind of harsh on yourself. Okay, so you're currently taking statistics? Okay. Yep, I know and I understand. So that's why it's like you don't really hate math because no one actually took the time to break math down to you. That's the problem. Okay, that's the problem. So if anything, stick with this. You know, hang out for a moment. See how you do. I'm not saying that you're going to be like, woohoo, math every day. Like, no. But you're going to learn to appreciate it and see how it will never fail you. Once you understand the rules and the breakdown, you're good. All right. So now we have 4 minus 3 times 2. So it's a negative 3 times a positive 2. So a negative times a positive, that'll give us a negative. So it's actually going to be 4 minus 6. So 4 minus 6, you have $4. You want to buy something that costs $6. You're short $2. So your answer is negative 2. All right. So here, you're going to have your positive 2, negative 2. Okay. And then we have one more. See, you got 2. Look at you. All right. Right. And there's a lot of formulas. Right. And there's a lot of formulas. And sometimes the formulas is basically the same. It's just changed based off of the situation. So now that we're looking at function notation, okay, they give us the function. They gave us the input. So all we have to do is substitute the input in for the x, right? And then we do the operation. So for the last one, our input is 3. Okay, we're substituting the 3 in for the x. So we have 4 minus 3, but instead of an x, we're plugging in a positive 3. So now right here, we have a negative 3 because the minus sign acts as a negative when it comes to this number. So negative 3 times 3, that gives me a negative 9. So we actually have 4 minus 9. And then 4 minus 9, I have $4. I want to buy something that costs $9. So I need to borrow $5. Okay. So your order pair for this one, I'm going to put it down here, is 3, negative 5. Your input was 3 and your output was negative 5. Good. All right, so you're doing not too badly. Okay. Oh, yay. See? All right, so you're breaking these things down. If you try to look at it as one big problem, you're going to feel overwhelmed. So now, let's see if we can plot these points. So here, I have a graph. So if we think about it, what a graph is basically 2 number lines intersecting at a common point, which is 0. Okay, so from east to west, that's your x-axis. Okay? North to south, that's your y-axis. And when you look at an ordered pair, think of the alphabet. What comes first? So with the ordered pair, I'm going to put it up here. With the ordered pair, it's your x value, then your y. Think about the alphabet. X, Y, Z. Okay, X comes first, then Y follows behind. So if I'm going to plot the point -2, 10, I always start. Anytime you're about to plot points, you always start at the origin. So let me see if I can get my purple one here. Okay. So I start at the origin and I have to go to -2. So negative is going to the left. 1, 2. Now from here, I have to go up 10. Now, if you notice how I do my tick marks, I always put the 5 spot and the 10 spot a little bit longer than the others. So it's easy for me to find where my 5 and 10s are, right? Any multiples of 5. So I go over to the left 2, and then I'm going to go up 10. And I'm going to plot my point. Okay. So we got -2, up 10. This is why I like to do dot grids, because it makes the graphs look so much smoother. You just have to fill in the dots. Now, I got -1, 7, starting here at the origin. Going to the left, -1. Here's 5. That means go up 2 more for me to get to 7. Now, starting at the origin, 0, 4. So I don't go to the left or the right because it's 0. I'm already there. All I have to do is go up 4 and plot my point. Does anyone know the name of that point? It's a blank intercept. Okay, we got X and Y axes, good. Yes, good. The y-intercept, good, Lily, good, good. Okay, so it's the y-intercept. The reason why it's called the y-intercept is it's intersecting or crossing at a point on the y-axis. It's really not that deep, guys. It's really not that deep. Okay. Y-intercepts was where it crosses the y-axis. X-intercepts, which hopefully we might run into, is where it crosses the x-axis. Okay? So now we need 1, 1. Starting at the origin, I'm going to 1, up 1, and I'm plotting my point. Then we have 2, -2. Start at the origin, go to the right 2, because that's positive 2, and then go down 2 and plot my point. And then the last one was 3, -5. Starting at the origin, I go to the right 3, and then I go down 5 and plot my point. Okay. Why down? Because my y value is negative. Okay, so if I have a positive x value, that's a 3. When my y value is a -5, that means I have to go down 5. So it's almost like you're giving someone directions to someone's house. All right, go down 3 blocks and then go to the right 3 blocks and then go down 5 blocks to get to blank's house. Okay, that's all it is. You're just giving directions. Okay. K. Smith, did you get that? Why I went down? Okay. Hey, Millie. Yes, Smith. Okay, awesome. So now, when you're taking a look at the pattern. Look at the pattern of those. Huh? Okay, when you look at the pattern, it's giving us a nice straight line. Okay, it's giving us a nice straight line. If I read from left to right, this slope, as my x's increase, my y values are decreasing. And that's exactly what was happening. We had our output. It was a 10, then a 7, then a 4, then a 1, a -2, a -5. The y values were going down as my x values were increasing from -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that's telling me I have a negative slope. And if I want to, just like when we were doing graphs back in the day, here is my slope. Okay, my slope was -3. My y-intercept is 4. Let's take a look. My y-intercept, this is where you always start if they ever give you the equation of the line. The y-intercept is 4. My slope was -3. That means I can go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. We got a point there. Go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. We got a point there. Okay, hey Michael. So we can calculate the rate of change of x, yes, if given the y values are way down. Yes. If they're giving you the points, all you have to do is like, okay, where's my y-intercept? Boom. It's just like if I'm doing the equation line. The equation line is y equals mx plus b. So my b is the y-intercept, which is a +4. My m is the slope. So I had to go down 3. So that's -3. And then I went to the right 1. That's a +1. If I wanted to clean that up a little bit, I would get y equals, but now I can't say y equals because we're doing a function notation. So we have our f of x is equal to -3x plus 4. These two things mean exactly the same thing. Okay? All it is just switched around. That's it. This school. Oh. I'm so confused with this. True. Okay. Mind you of calculus? Okay. It's the early forms of calculus. Yep. All it is just flipped. Okay. That's all we're doing. So we're just really keeping it simple. All right. That's all it is. That's it. So if you want to, you can put your input into your function, figure out what your output is, and what you just did was created order pairs. That's all what you did. Okay? All right, so let's continue on. I'm going to show this page at the end so you guys can take a picture of it, knock yourselves out. Elementary and linear algebra. Okay, good. All right. So if you know anyone that is either currently going through function notation, I just basically grab some things that a lot of my students are either currently working on, or if they're going through their GED, the ACCUPLACER, the ASVAB, this is going to be on here. Okay? So at least now you kind of familiarize yourself. Okay? So thank you, Michael, for sharing the live. If you guys could share the lives, if you can tap, bring people in, that would be great, if it's something that's going to be worthwhile. All right. So now, let me unzoom just a hair. So now we got another example. My hair was a little bit big. Okay. So now we have the f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 5. So this time, instead of a binomial, we have a trinomial. Okay, remember, we can tell this is a term, that's a term, and that's a term because they're being separated by plus or minus. Okay, but the way that you do it is exactly the same thing that we did earlier. So now we have the f of -5. We want to find the f of -2, and we want to find the f of 0. So since this is the f function, we're going to use this function to find. Okay, why that keeps going on. Okay, this is another function. Yes, so this is a different function from earlier. Oh, thanks. Okay, so now let's plug in. So all we're doing, and this is what some teachers like to do, so I just like to cover as much as I can. So we have the f of -5. I'm rewriting this just as a reminder to what you're plugging in for x. So anytime you see an x, a -5 is going in its place. Now, I had to think about the spacing a little bit. Okay, so let me focus on that first one. Okay, so now we have -5 squared minus 3 times -5 plus 5, right? So we're not doing anything with this. So just don't freak out about it. It's just a reminder of what you're substituting. Now, -5 squared, what does that give me? This is actually Algebra 1, but it's a little review in Algebra 2, usually first semester. Okay, good. I got trimester 25. Yes, 25. W tutor. All right. Keep freezing. Yeah, for some reason my alarm keeps going off. Okay, Jocelyn, good. 25. Okay. It is not a -10. Okay, and it's not a -25. The reason why, you're basically saying, and let me put it over here, we're basically saying -5 is multiplying to itself twice. So a negative times a negative will give me a positive. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply this -3 with that -5. Negative times a negative gives me a positive. And 3 times 5, 15. Now we're just going to bring down the plus 5. That was the constant. Okay, order of operations. Okay, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we're going from left to right. So we have 25 plus 15. That will give me 40. Then 40 plus this 5 will give me 45. So you can leave it like this, but I know for sure there's going to be a lot of teachers that's going to say, all right, you have to write f of -5 equals 45. And what you just found is an ordered pair. And the ordered pair is -5, 45. So at -5, your result is going to be 45. Okay, how are we feeling? Okay, I got it okay. Welcome, Rihanna. Okay, Joshua, good. Okay, definitely. That's why I got a couple more. Okay, a lot better. All right, good. So now I'm using this same function, but this time I'm going for f of -2. So let me see if I can do a little bit of separation so it won't be too much. Okay, so we have f of -2. So what we're doing is we're substituting the -2 in for the x's. So let me kind of do it this way. It's just so I can get my room. So I got -2 squared minus 3 times -2 plus 5. Okay. Okay, thank you for the shares and the likes, guys. I appreciate this. Yep. If you know of anyone else that's going through this and they feel like, you know what, even if you need it as a refresher, because before you know it, it's time for state assessments if you're here in the States. Okay. So state assessments are right around the corner before you know it. And sometimes you may be in geometry, but the state assessments are really hitting on algebra and you haven't seen algebra for a minute. Okay, so -2 squared. What's -2 squared? Okay. What to do or what it's asking me to do. Yes, okay, Joshua. Yep, so it's the name of the function, which this function is a f function. Whatever is inside the parenthesis, that's what you're substituting for the x. Notice this number -2 is in the same spot where x is. So that means wherever you see an x, you're going to plug in a -2. My suggestion, put parentheses around it because we're multiplying. Okay? All right. So yes, -2 squared, that's the same as saying -2 times -2. So that gives us 4. So now let's multiply -3 times -2. What would that give me? Yes. Okay. Good. I got 6's, got plus 6's. Good. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. You have to get these rules down. So 3 times 2 gives me 6. And then we just bring down the plus 5. So now, from left to right, we need to combine. So 4 plus 6. I was looking at something else. That gives me my 10. Then we bring down the plus 5. And then your 10 plus 5, that gives me 15. So you found the f of -2 is equal to 15. So the ordered pair that you just found was -2, 15. Why is 2 not 25? What do you mean? Why is 2 not 25? Okay, AF is asking the same thing. Okay. Lucia, what do you mean? Oh, thank you. I try. K. Smith, I try. Because I know when I was younger, I sucked at math completely. Because I didn't really have teachers that really broke down until I think it was my senior year of high school. Mr. Crusoe. He used to call me Shorty. Meanwhile, he was like maybe on a good day 5'2". And I'm 6'1". So, you know. But he really took his time to break down step by step. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. I'm kind of waiting for Lucia, but I'm not sure. Yeah, that was back in the day. All right. Okay, so one more. Now, this is where I want you guys to try. Okay? Yep. So the answer is not negative 15. It was a positive 15. True. It's almost ever since the whole No Child Left Behind, Common Core, because I was around, I was in the classroom during that time, and we were told that the students are going to be able to do the work without prompting. And of course, every teacher was like, say what? Yeah. I'm like, everyone needs some start and some prompting, because here's the thing. Everyone started off with math in different spots, believe it or not. You know, some were advanced, some people were exposed to math, some people were not. Okay. So negative 2 times 2? No. We don't have an additional 2. If you're talking about the negative 2 squared, negative 2 squared, that's negative 2 times negative 2. That gives us a positive 4. And then we have a negative 3 times negative 2. That gives us a positive 6. Oh, I know. And that's why I'm just like, you just have to have somebody with some patience. All right. David, are you okay? You see what happened? Okay. All right. So now, okay. So we have f of 0. So we're using the same function. Let me highlight the function because I know it's starting to get a little cray-cray. Okay, we have the same function, but this time I want you guys to try f of 0. Now, do not put your answer up right away. Okay? Slow it down. Just slow it down. Because I know there's a lot of people in here that are probably like, yeah, I know the answer. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That's great. But there are also some people that are just like, hey, like K. Smith was like, you know what? I hate math. But now I'm trying to be a little convert. Okay? So if anything, try to tell me what would be my ordered pair. Don't put the answer up. What would be my ordered pair if I plug in to my function, into the f function? Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes. Do not put your answers up. Do not put it like, oh, is it a question? Oh, see, as soon as I see that, I look up on the thing. Okay. All right, so just give it a few minutes. Go ahead and try it out. Guys, I know. That's what I'm saying. Don't put your answers up yet. Because if you can see my face, I can give you the look. Because, like, you know how the students will try to be like, is the answer? I'm like, before you even say it, I would just give you the look. Right? The teacher face. I know. You know, just the glare. Like, I love you, but. Right? It's like everyone knows the look. Okay. Vini. Look. All right, literally got 5 seconds left. All right, put up your answers. I always like to say, type them in, but don't hit send. Go ahead, put up your answers. The ones that put their answers up before, you don't have to put it up again. Because trust me, I understand how it can be a little much with the typing. So a lot of people had like 5s. We have 0 5s. Can't double the 0. Exactly. Can't double the 0s. We got 0 5s. We have an 11. All right, so let's take a look. So if we're using this function. Okay, I'll use this pen. So we are basically, give myself some more room next time I do this. Okay. So we are plugging in a 0 every time we see an x. So we're looking at 0 squared minus 3 times 0 plus 5. Okay. Anything times 0 is going to give me 0, right? So we have 0 here, negative 3 times 0. We all know zeros are not positive nor negative, but I'll just put it there. And then what's left is our plus 5. So 0 plus 0 plus 5, that gives me an answer of 5. So that means the f of 0 is going to equal 5. Which the order pair that we're looking for is 0, 5. Okay, so 7, 7, do you see what happened? Yes, Jocelyn, good, 0, 5. Yes, lock hold, yes. All right, good. All right, so you guys are doing it for function notation. Okay, a lot of it is just simple substitution and then taking your time with the calculation. Okay, so now here's a question for you. Okay, it's kind of hard to zoom. Let me see if I can get it all in here. All right. Can we solve numerical solutions, partial differential? No, sorry, Live Drive. Do you have to have the parentheses? I like putting the parentheses in. Especially when you do a negative, because if you, let me see if I can, about to flip stuff over and I don't mean to do so. Because if I said negative squared compared to negative 1 squared, if you try to put this in your calculator, or we can just simply do it, if you don't use parentheses, the calculator will read it like this. There's a negative, and then we're going to square the 1, and it gives me an answer of negative 1. Here, it's saying that, oh, you got negative 1, and you want to multiply it to itself. Okay, so this will give me a positive 1. Okay? So I like to just do a practice. Anytime I'm substituting in for a variable, I always put parentheses around. So I just have that enclosure, okay? Okay, you had 8K, like now it dropped down to, oh, I guess a lot of people didn't like me. I guess they took their likes away. I don't know. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. So, I don't know. See, I can't worry about TikTok. I worry so much about the people and not so much the whole clicking. Yeah. I was like, what's happening to get you more? I appreciate it. I don't want you to get a cramp. Well, thank you, Guy. All right, so now here's a question for you. So which point, I know you can't see the whole thing because I'm trying to fit the words in. I got to remember to cut out unless I do it that way. Okay, so which point is on the graph of the function course, I didn't put it in the function notation. Shame on me. Okay, we'll say y equals 3x plus 2. So I have 2, 3, 3, 2, 5, 1, and 1, 5. So if my function, let me write it properly, if my function is 3x plus 2, and I'm giving you the input, which one will give me the appropriate output? Okay. So we got Odella saying D. I have user yes, a whole bunch of numbers, saying B. Okay, Gee saying B. Toki saying B. Saying B. Okay, I have another vote for D. Okay, got B. Wait, how do you work that out? Think about what we were doing before in order for us to get these ordered pairs. In order for us to get these ordered pairs, what did we do with the function? Okay, I got D. I got B with y-intercept. Let's say B because everyone's saying it. Well, don't be a follower. What do you think? Okay. And this one's saying it's D. Is it the domain? Okay, what goes inside the input will be the domain. I don't know. It's spring break. I know. And I actually tutored a couple students that were on spring break. So, hey, please answer. Okay. Please answer. Doesn't mean you want the answer. Random. Is that yes? No, random. Come on now. I know. It's like the anticipation. Like if you can't get it immediately, you're about to blow up. Okay. But just came in. Okay. So you think it's B? All right. Saying yes. Okay. So we're given this function. They gave us our input. The 2, the 3, the 5, and the 1. So remember, our input is our x values. The output is the answers. That's our y values. Okay. Do you substitute? Yes, you do. I'm telling you positive 3, so just count to the right 3 times and then up 2 because that's y. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I say B. Okay. Okay. All right. Jean's saying C. Okay. All right. Maura saying D. We got a competition between B and D. Okay. At least no one's saying A. Watch all of a sudden. Okay. Got my D. Got my D. All right. Now, let me show you with an example of A. They gave us our x value is 2. So I'm going to substitute the x for the 2. 3 times 2 gives me 6. Bring down the plus 2. 6 plus 2, that gives me 8. but we need a result that's going to be a 3. 3 and 8, not the same. So it's not one of those solutions. Trim master. Hey! This is Acre Mouse, so I'm confused. I just got here. All right. Well, again, I love when people are like, oh, I just got here. Well, obviously you're not going to know what's going on. Okay, we're looking at function notation. Okay, they're giving us the value of x. We're plugging it into this expression. So 3 times 2, that gives me 6. 6 plus 2 gives me 8. But for this to be a point on that function, this number here, our result, has to match an 8, but it doesn't. So that means it's not on that graph. Ah, here we go. I suppose. I love Johnson. I suppose. Not a problem, okay? All right, so we're getting all the D's. We're getting all the D's, right? Because if you plugged in your 3 for the x, this will give me 9 plus 2, which will give us 11. But in order for it to be a point in the graph, this is supposed to be 11, not a 2. Right? So let me slide over and see. If we did 3 times the 1, we're just looking at D, plus 2. 3 times 1 gives me 3, plus 2 gives me 5. And that's why D is our answer. For 1,000? Yes. How fast the class flash back? No, right? Yes. All right. But we're learning it. We're processing it. We're going through it step by step. Okay. I know for a fact a couple people said, oh, okay, well, the y-intercept is 2. But this is not a y-intercept. This is a point. This has nothing to do with the y-intercept. It has to do with the slope. But in order for us to figure out what our y-axis is, we got to plug in our domain in for the x. Well, actually, our x value. And then see which one gives us that y value back. And the only one that did was D. Okay, not a problem. All right, so we're not done. We're going to do a couple more. And I just have to make sure I keep my track on my time because I do have one more client. That's why I'm coming on early. All right, so this time we got a G function. G-Wagon. Okay, so we have G of t equals 5 minus 2t. So we're going to focus on this one right now because I know there was more people in here and then they saw the fraction and just left. Like, calm it down, guys. You're not, trust me, this is not Squid Games. Like, you're not going to die if you get it wrong. Like, you're not, okay? All right. Not the fractions. Yes, fractions are numbers too. Show the actual math, the whole concept. Keep it simple. Exactly, Sarah. Like, tell them. Keep it simple. All right. So we have the G of negative 10. Okay, so this one you might be able to do on your own. All right. Tell me what the G of negative 10 is. Think about what we just did. Yeah, you can put the answers right away because I didn't give you guys a time frame. Okay. So Ivy, since the t is in the same, the negative 10 is in the same spot as t, substitute that negative 10 in for t and tell me what my answer is. Oh, Oh, there's my free ticket TikTok coin queen. Hey. So I'm seeing a lot of 25s. Seeing a lot of 25s. I'm seeing negative 10 25s. Okay. Okay. So flip it around, warrior, because the negative 10 is your X value. So that goes in first, okay? All right. Hello, Valerie. All right. So it cannot be two answers as the exponent to t is 1. Yeah, I did my sign wrong. Okay. Okay. All right. Ooh, Venom is here. All right. So when we substitute, you have your 5 minus 2, and we're substituting the negative 10 for the t. So remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. There you go, Ivy. So we have negative 2 times negative 10. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. 2 times 10 gives me 20. So then we bring down the 5. So now 5 plus 2, that gives me 25. So the ordered pair we're looking at, or we can just say the g of negative 10 is 25. You can leave it like that. Okay. All right. So now, there you go, home slice. All right. So now, same function. And I know you're freaking out because you're seeing a fraction. You're like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. Ah! Like, no freaking out. It's okay. Breathe. Breathe. Remember, it's not Squid Games. You're not going to die. All right? So, we have our equals. Rewrite your function. So we're looking at 5 minus 2. And instead of the t, you're going to put your 5 halves. Okay, remain calm, remain calm. Now, let's focus on the 5 halves. Let's ignore this stuff for right now. You have a whole number being multiplied by a fraction. Okay? You can do this one of 2 ways. Okay, so I'm going to kind of see if I can stretch it out over here. So we're going to do this one of 2 ways. You can either put the 2 over 1 and then multiply straight across, meaning 2 times 5, that gives me 10. 1 times 2 gives me 2. And now simplify it. What's 10 divided by 2? There you go, Ivy. Good, Joshua. All right. Now, the reason why I put it over 1, all whole numbers can be turned into fractions by putting it over 1, because it's not going to ruin the integrity of the whole number, because 2 divided by 1 is still 2. All right. So you can solve it that way. Or, let me slide over this way. You can do what's called cross simplification. That means, here I go again, 2 over 1 times 5 over 2. Okay? Notice, I have a 2 in the numerator and a 2 in the denominator. So 2 divided by 2 will give me 1. Boom. Boom. If I make them ones, What's left? 5 over 1. And what's 5 over 1? Just simply 5. Take a look. We get the same blessed answer. Okay? If you want to put it over 1 and then multiply, then simplify, you can do that. If you want to simplify and then multiply, you can do that. All right? So you have to figure out where is your comfort zone. Okay? No matter what, the result of this is going to be a 5. Okay? So I'm bringing everything else down. The minus and the 5. See, now it's not so scary. Okay, now it's not so scary. Because what's 5 minus 5? Look at Ivy reading my mind. Go ahead, girl. Right? Look, there's Lacole. There she is. All right. That carried the 1. Yes. Taking the time to show the work. Not a problem. The instance where you need to do a civic I don't know. Hey, Leanne. Usually that, I hate to say it, usually it's that like a teacher preference. If you're thinking about, like, say, any of the assessments, GED, SAT, ACT, they just want the answer, right? They don't really care how you do it. They just want their answer. So I like to show a couple of ways. You figure out what your comfort zone is, and you take it and run with it, okay? That one was for, I think that was for Joshua. Yep, that was for Joshua. Yep. You always use a calculator to solve it. That will work, but here's my thing. ACCUPLACER, you can't use a calculator for it if you're thinking about you doing the ACCUPLACER. Some of the SATs, they have a non-calculator section. So there's going to be times you're going to have to learn, especially your multiplication facts. Please, I'm begging. Here's me with all kinds of calluses on my hands. Okay, I'm begging. You need to know your multiplication facts, okay? Multiplication is just nothing but fast addition, okay? Please. I have a 9th grader right now that doesn't know her multiplication facts, and she's in the 9th blessed grade, okay? All right? All right. So we use Desmos. Okay, good. But here's my thing. When you take most of the assessments, you're not allowed to use Desmos. I know. It's like we're teaching you all these great things, but then you won't be able to use them for assessments. Especially SAT, ACT, can't use them. Some parts of the GED will actually put an electronic calculator up because you can't bring in your own calculator. ACCUPLACER, certain parts did that as well, but you can't bring your own calculator. ASVAB, yeah, you got to know the math. I know. Are you a teacher? Yes, I am. I left the classroom to start my own online math tutoring business because I got tired of the foolishness. And there's never a good time to go, but COVID was my eye-opening experience that it was time for me to go. Okay, so your G of 5 halves equals 0. That will be your final answer. Okay. Do you recommend just up to 12? If you can push to 15, that'll be awesome. But majority of stuff is going to be around 12, possibly 13. Because they always use like the square root of 169. So as long as you know the square root of 169 is 13 squared, or 13 times 13, you'll be good to go. Okay. Yep, a lot of people stop at 12s, but nowadays, people are pushing it to 15s. Where can I hire you for tutoring? You can actually go push or touch my picture on the profile. My website is on my is in my profile, in my bio. As a sophomore, if you're ready for it, take it. Why not? Did you take AP Pre-Calc? Did you feel comfortable with AP Pre-Calc? Or are you currently taking that? Yeah, do it. Because it's like the more that you do your college ready courses now, the less math you would have to take when you actually do go to college. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of professors, they're like, I would never teach AP calculus in high school because they're like, that is hard. Yeah. Okay, think about taking it in the summer. My math skills are really good. Good. I'm like, do it. You know, no holds barred. Do it. Do it, give it a try, and keep your mind open. Okay, especially during the summer. So you're probably doing, because usually they don't do accredited classes during the summer, to be honest with you. So that's very interesting to know that they're thinking about doing that. All right. Okay. So now we have a new function. We have the H function. Okay. And we're doing the H of 0, not ho. That's why I made the 0 a lot bigger. Oh, we're doing a ho? No. All right. So think about it. What would be my ho? No, what would be my H of 0? Okay, and without any calculations, what will be your H of 0? Okay, so we got K, got walking, cheese lord, K, yes, Lacan, good, Henry, yes, face, Jocelyn, good, Daywalker, how are you? Okay, Brayden, you know it's not 200. Michael, yes. Leanne, I don't know how to solve this. Okay, so if you plug in, notice the X and the 0 are in the same spot. So if I'm trying to find the H of 0, plug in 0 where the X's are and tell me what you get, Leanne. Okay, so we got Joshua, yeah. Is it Danae? Okay. 6 factorial. Brayden. All right. So go ahead and keep tapping. I want to see if Leanne gets it. And I notice that everyone else. Hey, Miss B, how are you? All right. A lot of people. K Long. Sorry, I skipped you. Good. Good. I know you're joking. That's why I haven't booted you out yet. It can't be 0. Joshua, did I miss that? Oh, no. Joshua is just putting it as a point. He knows the answer is a -1. Thank you, Henry. Yeah. How to solve this. Okay. So all you're doing is where you have an X, all you're doing is plugging in the 0. Okay, because notice that X and 0, they're both in the same spots. So wherever you see an X, you plug in a 0. So here, you're going to have 0 plus 0 minus 1. So that means the H of 0 is equal to -1. And if you did it as an ordered pair, a 0, -1, that works as well. Okay. So your X value is going to be 0, but your Y value is what we were looking for. The Y value is your -1. Okay. You also finding the y-intercept. Yep, I did find the y-intercept. Thank you. All right. So, ready? Oh, you want a difficult question? All right. Same function. Like, I can hear the crucifix show like, oh, who's that kid in the classroom? Okay. What about the 2? What 2? The squared? Because 0 squared, that means 0 times 0. Okay. So, Kim, 0 squared is 0 times 0. 0 times 0 gives me 0. All right. Yeah. So we found the hoe. All right. Not a problem. Okay. All right. No, Kim, stop crying. What are you crying for? She's like, nah. It's okay. All right. So it's the same function. Could you make it a decimal and solve? You could. You could. Okay, so I got 7.25, 7 1/4. Okay, so negative 2.5. Okay, take your time with the substitution. Right? No need, right? It's okay. Like, you don't hear the Squid Games song in the background, so you're good. You will live to see another parent. Okay. I know trying to do a cookie umbrella probably will sound a lot easier than what we're currently working on, but trust me, take it step by step. Okay, take it step by step. Okay. Man, I played it though. Okay, so we got 7/4, we got that, we got 7.5 with Lexi. Okay. All right. Tomorrow I have a math test. Okay. It's all right. Are you teaching algebra or geometry? Right now, algebra. So how I work this problem. Okay, I see you, Leah. So, okay. All right. So, inside the parenthesis is 3 halves. So, I'm using the same function. So, it's going to be something squared plus 4 times this minus 1. All right, so my 3 halves are going in for the x. Okay, so let me zoom in so we can see. All right, so we're not doing anything with the h of 3 halves. That's just a reminder of what you plugged in for the x's. So we're good with that. So now we have 3 halves squared. So this means I'm going to do 3 squared over 2 squared. So 3 squared over 2 squared. Okay? Now, 3 squared over 2 squared, that gives me 9 over 4. Are we good so far? So now, over here, we have this whole number of 4. So we could put it over 1. And that's being multiplied by our 3 halves. So remember what we did earlier. You can either multiply straight across, then simplify, or you could cross simplify, then multiply. So if you want to, you can do 4 times 3, which gives us 12, and then 2 times 2. So if you want, oops, we get our 12 over 2. Okay, then we bring down our minus 1. Now, here's the thing. When you're dealing with fractions, we need to have a common denominator. And yes, I can do 12 divided by 2, which will give me 6. But here's the thing. I still need a common denominator. Or if you want to make it into a decimal, you can make it into a decimal. Okay? Now, all right? So it's not going to be negatives. So if you want, you could make that 9 over 4 into a decimal, which is like 2.5, right? Or 2.25. Yes, 2.25. So we could do that, or we can change this 6 to have a denominator of 4. And we can change this 1 to have a denominator of 4. Okay? Either way, you're going to get the answer. I feel like if you're doing any kind of testing and you have the ability to do the division of 9/4, go right ahead. Okay? But this is what happens when you have fractions and you're adding and subtracting. You need a common denominator. So since this has a denominator of 4, I'm going to leave that alone. But I need to change this 6 to have a denominator of 4. So 6 times 4 gives me 24. So if I did 24 divided by 4, it will give me my whole number of 6. In order for me to get my 1 whole, that means it's 4 over 4. Because 4 divided by 4 will give me my 1. Yes, he is. I was watching a couple of games. I haven't seen anything. I didn't see anything today. All right. So now, I know it'll be simpler just to use a decimal. I know. But this is me. I like to be a little extra. All right. So now that we have a common denominator, we can combine what's happening in the numerator. So you have your 9 plus 24 minus, excuse me, so sorry, minus your 4. So this gives us 29 fourths? Yep, 29 fourths. And if you actually divide 29 divided by 4, if you wanted to break it down for my decimal lovers, you will get 7.25. Okay? So if you want to convert it to a decimal and then do your stuff, you can. If you want to see how it's done as a fraction, you can. Because 29 fourths cannot be reduced any lower. Because 29 is an odd number, 4 is an even number. So this you can write as h of, actually I'm going to put it up here. I think you can see it. So h of 3/2 gives you either 29 fourths, or if you wanted to do h of 1.5, will give you your 7.25 hundredths. So that will be your official answer. Okay. Is this SAT prep or just math tutoring? Just math right now. But this is a concept that is going to be in the SAT. They always have functions on the SAT. The one thing about SATs, they never do you a direct. They always give you like 2 concepts, and then you have to figure out which concept you got to do first. All right. Okay. So now we're almost done. Almost done. I got one more function. Okay, one more function. Then I'm officially done because I have to go. Even though I really do enjoy our time together. All right. So this time we have an f function. F of x is equal to 2x minus 1. Okay. I want you to try to answer these 4. Do not put your answers up. I want you to hold your answers to the end. Apple user. Apple user. It's like, I'm sorry. Give me the look. The look. Joshua, the look. All right. All right. So I want you to solve all 4 of them. Okay. So we have the f of -3, the f of 1/2, the f of 0, and the f of 3. Okay. Do not put your answers down. Okay. But I'm going to give you time to work them out. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Yes. And if you're sitting around and waiting, if we can tap, if I can get to 12K, that will be amazeballs. Okay. Tap while you wait. Share the live. Well, I know it's kind of weird to share the live with the last 4 problems. Sometimes it's just engraved in your head. Okay. Thank you. Okay. If you haven't followed, go ahead and follow. And if you're here, and if you ever want the replay, I'm going to try to lower this down. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you can. Okay, I always do the replays. Let me slide that over. So Audrey Codner, ACG Math Tutoring. Not sure if you guys can see it. Okay, so go ahead and subscribe to Audrey Codner, ACG Math Tutoring for YouTube. That's where I put a lot of my replays of the live. Just give me some time to upload it, because sometimes these lives, when they go long especially, it takes forever to download. Forever. And then I have to upload. And yeah, it's a whole process. It's a whole process. Okay. Okay, thank you for the follows. Can you answer now? No, not yet. It's like, I want to answer. Because we're doing all 4 of them. Okay, all 4 of them. Because I want you to put like all 4 of your answers up. Okay, I did. What math level do you go to? For me, I like to go up to like pre-calc, not AP pre-calc. I don't like the wording of AP pre-calc. For me, it reminds me of IB, and I'm just not an IB person. But that's how far I go. When to use U substitute? Anytime they give you an expression, if it's just a number, you don't need it. Every time they give you an expression, you want to do the mu substitute. Because that's what you're doing. You're using mu to make it a lot easier. So instead of you looking at 2x minus 7 squared and actually doing it, you substitute the mu in place of the 2x minus 7. So that's when you do the mu substitute. Yeah, there is an AP pre-calculus. They started it like 2 years ago. And of course, a lot of students are struggling with it this year. No, they're trying to push everybody to advanced math and pretend that the COVID did nothing. that it didn't harm anyone academically, which we all know that's fake. Is this calculus? No, this is like Algebra 1 second semester. Oh, for high school forever now. Don't even know that. Yeah, I know. And now there are some states that are teaching Algebra 1, the whole course of Algebra 1 in one semester. I don't know what time. And you wonder why the kids are like, I don't remember how to do this. I'm like, I know. You're learning 3 different concepts per day. Ay. I know. All right. In about 1 minute, I'm going to have you guys go ahead and type, but just don't hit enter yet. I want you to type all 4 of your answers. Okay? So just separate them with commas. So like this will be, let me number it. This will be your first answer. This will be your second, your third, and your fourth. Okay? So just list them in. Exactly. I totally agree. But there's a lot of states. The one state that I can think of in particular is Massachusetts. They have this one school that they basically, their semesters is really equivalent to a quarter and a half in compared to a lot of other schools. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Put up your answers. Let's see. Travis, we got that. Let's see what you have. Yeah. So Henry, if you're ever thinking about tutoring and you need some help with it, just let me know because I also mentor people with their tutoring businesses. Okay. Josh, you're number 2. Joshua, check your number 2. Okay. Okay. Okay, just go ahead and flip them. Okay, I think Jocelyn did the same thing, but I think I get what you're saying. All right, so good, Henry. Okay. Yeah, Dark Prince, welcome in. Yep, okay. All right. Okay, anyone else? Any question marks will be taken as well. Remember, the question marks is also an answer for me. Okay. All right. So, this is what's happened. You plugged in the -3. Not a problem. Yeah, just message me, Henry. Let me know. So -3 goes in for the x. So that means we have 2 times -3 minus 1. So that gives us -6 minus 1. That gives us our -7. Here we got our 1/2. So 2 times -1/2 minus 1. So half of 2, this will be a -1. -1 minus 1, that gives me a -2. When we plug a 0 in, 2 times 0 minus 1, anything times 0 is 0, so we just get a -1. And then for the f of 3, we have 2 times 3, which gives me 6, minus 1 will give me 5. Okay, so our answers was -7, -2, -1, and +5. It's -2. Yes, there you go. All right. All right, so that was function notation. Okay, got one wrong. Hey, but think about it. A couple weeks ago, Nicole, you probably would have gotten like all 4 wrong. So you're definitely stepping up. All right, up 19. Yeah, I figured so. Figured so. Okay, is this 8th grade math? Well, it's Algebra 1. So if it's like if they're taking Algebra 1 in 8th grade, yes. All right. So if you liked my pages, liked how the design of it, this is going to be my quick plug. I designed this math notebook. All right. I just got sick and tired of my kids giving me all kinds of foolishness. So it helps them to organize their thoughts. They'll get their formulas right in the very beginning. They can also write their steps. They can also take like some worksheets and cut it up and then do the construction inside their books. Okay, so here we had some steps. We did completing the square last night. That was a chore. But you get like 100 pages of these. If you want it, hey, I'm selling it on Amazon. And in addition to that, if you're not very strong with your multiplications, I have what's called the factor sheets, okay? So if you're trying to break down radicals, I have the perfect prime combinations that's already listed as well. So it goes up to 1 to all the way to 200. If you're unsure, like we were struggling, some of us, with the rules of integers, I have the rules of integers for addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division, as well as those famous words for word problems. I have those listed as well. These are the most used ones. Then on top of it, we have our linear equations. Hey, there's that equation of the line, y equals mx plus b. Okay, and then it has like slope and everything else, the standard form that's listed, as well as order of operation, not only in the United States, but also internationally, because sometimes they have a different saying as well. Then we have the properties of exponents. We have some geometric. We have like the Pythagorean theorem. Then we have SOHCAHTOA. Okay, we're looking at the sine, cosine, and tangent and their inverses. So this was designed for people that are taking in 7th grade, if they're taking Algebra 1 all the way up to adults. So I know there's going to be a lot of older students when they get in Algebra 2, get with the unit circle, all right? As well as just a little brain breaks. So a couple brain breaks just to kind of help you refocus, take a step away, and then you can just basically get back to it. So if you like to purchase, you can purchase it. Again, it's on Amazon. If you want, you can, the link is in my bio. Actually, you can go to my website and I have a whole page that says the Ultimate Math Notebook. If not for the 7 through 10, I also have for younger kids 4 through 6. And 4 through 6, I just have more so like math tiles so they can actually write in and put some of their expressions in so they can keep up with their 1s, their 10s, their 100s a little bit more. They also get the resource section. And with the resource section, they also get the factor sheet, talk a little bit about fractions. We talk about place value, decimal operation. We'll talk about rounding, long division, the conversion. I'm actually going to update it in my newer books. The same thing with the order of operation, the same thing, but we got area and perimeter. We're talking about volume and surface area. That's also in the other book as well. I don't think I showed that. And then the rules of integers, as well as a different form of brain breaks. So this is from 4 through 6. This one, as well as the most famous one, which is this one, are also for 7 through adults. So lots of the forms, breaking all these concepts down. Not only do you have the dot side, but you also have, if you want, the grid side. All right. So if you're interested, yes, I had a hard time finding it on Amazon. Go to my bio. If you go to my bio, Michael, because I know you have to type in my name in order for you to get to my page. I know, it's a crazy thing. But if you go to my bio and it says Ultimate Math Notebook, there's actually a page for that. If you click on like, do you want a hard copy? Click on that and you can go. if you want to try these out and you just want to just get the pages, just to get the digital copies, you can do that as well. I think I still offer those as well. All right, yes. Should add basic rules for calculus at the end. Maybe it's for his students. Maybe, okay? The book is called The Ultimate Math Notebook. I know, I'm being a little facetious. Because I do not see this anywhere. And I just got to the point that all my tutoring kids, it was just making me crazy. So there's 3 covers, but this is same information inside. Okay, and then this is the 4th one for 4th through 6th grade. And it should last them a year. It definitely more than a semester if you write big. I just write really big because I like to do presentations for that for you guys. So that's the reason why I write really big. And it looks like it takes up so much room. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So last thing, and then I have to get going. So if you can, if you're just like Audrey, I would love to support you, but right now my money is funny. Hey, I get it. Sometimes my money is hilarious. So if anything, if you can, if you have Google, you can just do a Google review on ACG Math Tutoring. Just do a Google search and then write a review for me. That would be amazing. Also, if you could subscribe for the YouTube channel. So that's where I actually have a playlist for all of my lives. And it literally says TikTok lives. I wasn't really being super inventive. And then the next time I'm actually going to go live is Tuesday evening. I might go live on Monday. Not quite sure. I have to take a look at my schedule, but I think I might be able to go live tomorrow evening. Definitely not tomorrow at 1, but definitely tomorrow evening. But if not, we got Tuesday, Wednesday at 1 o'clock, Thursday at 1 o'clock. And I'm going to have to change this Sunday because I just had a couple cancellations. So that's the reason why I was able to jump on. All right. So thank you so much for attending. Thank you for your time and attention. If you do, getting it now. Oh, thank you. Oh, Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Baltimore. Baltimore. So if you do need any assistance, you know, if there's a concept that you're like, hey, Audrey, can you? And if it's basically like Algebra 1 is something that people can use in GED and all that, I'll try to fit it in. I'm thinking the next thing I might be doing is composite functions. So I think that's already situated for that. But hey, if you got something that you need, and if you want, I keep forgetting to mention this. If you are thinking about getting your coursework, I do have a couple courses for GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, as well as Algebra Foundation. So if you're thinking about taking any of those tests during the summer and you just need like a quick refresher, I got tons of videos. Like I'm talking 107 videos for each of these things. And then plus practice problems as well as quizzes. And then on Mondays, that's when I have my office hours that you can ask questions and I can get some clarifications. As well as if you want private tutoring, just go ahead and go to my website, which is on my bio or in my bio. So ACG Math Tutoring. And I think that is it. I know there's so many things I've been like providing. All right. So if you do need me, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. All right, guys. Well, is that Martha Brown? Have a wonderful day. And I will probably see you sometime either tomorrow, but definitely Tuesday at 8:30. All right. So mark your calendars. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for the likes. Wow, 13. I was only expecting 12. Woo. K. Smith, you've been doing overtime. All right. So have a wonderful day. Do not forget to subscribe to YouTube because I don't know what's going to happen to TikTok. Remember, there's another deadline that's happening in April. I don't know if they're just playing games or not, but I'm just trying to cover myself so you won't lose me. Okay? So go ahead and subscribe. It's free. Okay? And if you can do a Google review, that will be amazing. I definitely want to get like 100 reviews. That will be awesome before the next school year. All right. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye now. And keep being awesome. I loved it.